just wanted to give a huge thank you to Brenda and John Romero for all the inspiration you gave us here at Innovation Tech. CCR wouldn't have been the same without you. Your stories gave us the confidence to be original in our projects. Each student related to you in some way and was able to incorporate relevance into their projects to make them even better. We appreciate both of you creating space in your schedules to speak to our school. You put the idea in our heads that we can achieve anything and that there are no excuses to not be great. Thank you for making time to present and being open to answering any questions we have. All of us at Innovation Tech hope to see you again next year. Here are some words from our students who feel the same way.
I really connected with the fact that they were talking about not growing up the best and yet still being able to make something really great of their lives. Thank you so much for presenting to our school. That was really nice of you guys.
In John Romero's words, you have to keep pushing forward. You can't let one mistake hold you down or let one defeat stop you. Also, you have John to thank for video games as we know them today, as Doom and Quake were both one of the major projects he's worked on.
I am most connected with the way you were both able to grow from your failures. It was incredibly inspiring, and the chance to email and talk personally was amazing too. Thank you for giving me the little push I needed to get my career on its path.
I really connected with how you both fought so hard to get where you are today. Specifically, Brenda really inspired me throughout my own project because her story resonated close to mine. Her resilience and her passion is just something that I truly admire about her. So thank you both for helping me realize what truly sparked my own passions.
Thank you for helping us realize if we continue growing from setbacks and continue seeking challenges, we can be successful in our personal projects, but most importantly through our entire career.
Here's David with more on the trailer.
Here's David with more.
Here's David with more.
Up next, we have David.
Here's David with more on the story.
We go to David for a profile. Here's David with more on the story. Here's David.
Here's David Perkins.
Hi, I'm David Perkins, and I'm a sophomore here at Innovation Tech. This is my second year working on CCR. Last year was longer and more interactive. We were always kept busy and moving around the school. The work was hard, but that's what helped us grow in CCR. This year we were given more choice, and I was able to drive into my passions way more than last year. We focused more on our personal relevance, how we seek challenges, and growing from setbacks. We had two speakers, Brenda and John Romero, that talked about how they find personal relevance in their jobs and how they grow from setbacks in life. We also read articles, like one about how showing creativity is important. We also watched videos, like one that showed the pros and cons of positive reinforcement. To put it short, CCR is an interactive, student and passion-driven program, where students learn how to turn their passions into a successful career. Last year, I was able to present at the CCR Expedition of Excellence, where I talked about my passions with art and how to turn them into a career. Though, what I want as a career isn't as clear as it was last year. I have grown my passions past just my art and into things such as video editing, photography, writing, and broadcasting.
Innovation Tech News.
All passions that I've used in classes such as geodesign and broadcast communications. What I want to discover is a career that can use all my passions. Jobs like being a screenwriter could use my passions for writing and art, although things like working in news and media will fill my broadcasting, video editing, and photography passions. However, I still wish to find something that will develop all my passions. Guess I'm just gonna have to keep looking, but for now, I want to focus on strengthening and growing my passions. That's why one of my biggest dreams is to go to Syracuse University for film or art. Before that, I want to get accepted into the 11th grade CTE WC&Y program so I can use my broadcasting and editing skills to their best ability. Anyway, that's all for my CCR project. Hope you enjoyed learning a little more about me and my passions.
Innovation Tech.
Innovation Tech.
Innovation Tech.
Innovation Tech. Innovation Tech.
Innovation Tech.
Innovation Tech. Innovation Tech. Innovation Tech.
Art has always been a really big part of my life. For as long as I can remember, I've always been scribbling in coloring books or paper that I found. My family has told me for years that when I was younger, I would always be drawing something. I've always loved my art classes, being able to create things with clay or use pastels and really anything that was given to me, I would use it in some sort of artistic way. When middle school came around, I met some very artistic friends who drew a lot. They drew people and characters and made these amazing worlds, and I thought to myself, I want to do that. And so I did. I asked them to teach me how to draw, and they did. So I started drawing, making in-depth characters and worlds, and I was really just being creative and being able to really show that. And with the internet on hand, I would search up drawings and find things that I would like. I would look at them for hours and just got inspiration from them. I would like something so much that I would put them into my art style. And my art style has grown with me as a person. Things have evolved and changed, and there's so much improvement as well. My art has really just grown up with me. Some of my first characters, they've grown up with me as well. I've been drawing them for years now. My family really started to realize that I was getting into art when I would ask for pens and pencils and sketchbooks, paints, really anything that I could get my hands on for Christmas, birthday, holidays. And as I got older, I would watch some of my older Disney movies or Pixar movies and noticed how people had drawn them, and I really wanted to do that. I started researching animation, and I wanted to see my own art come to life and move and talk. So I started looking into tutorials and watching videos on animation and just wanting to become an animator. And as I got older, I tried to make animations. Granted, they didn't look the best, but it was still a try. They didn't need to look like Disney or Pixar or anything that was professional. I just wanted to have that experience of being able to start what it would maybe look like. And I think that's why I connected with Brenda and John and what they had talked about. How even when things or people get you down or they don't go as planned, you still kept going no matter what. I really want to become an animator, and I really relate to Brenda, and she said that she wanted to do something, and she did. And I've definitely had failed drawings, things that didn't go as planned, or how I thought they would look like, so I simply would scribble it out, or started doing something new with a drawing. Or I just put down my pencil and take a break and come back to it later. My problem statement is, how can I, as a student, put together a video that shows my passion for animation and art and the journey? And in this video, I talk a lot about my art. It's my process and it's my passion. I want to be an animator when I grow up, and that makes me think of the environment I want to work in when I grow up. I had read the article about creativity in the workplace, and it makes me think about how I am a very creative person. And in order to really be creative, I want to work around other creative people and be able to have that creative outlet. And with my coworkers, I also want to be able to depend on them, which is another article that I had read about and how it's okay to depend on others. And with art, you need to learn how to take criticism from it, learn from it, and how to get along with others. The video that I had watched was about Elon Musk and how he grew with the company and he created his company. And I remember that he had said that even when something that gets big that you created, you can't leave it. It'll crumble and just fall apart and it won't work. That makes me think about my art because I know from experience that when I don't draw for a while, it feels like I forget to draw, but I didn't. It just is something that I know that I need to work on. I know that in order to become successful in my art, I can't just leave it. I need to continue working and improving on my art and learning different techniques and styles. I need to have the experiences of falling and not understanding and learning from that. My goal is to become an animator at Disney or Pixar, make movies for children and adults to enjoy, for people to enjoy. But if I want to get there, I need to get my art out there with our portfolio and being able to have just experiences. And I'm very grateful that just in this school year, I've been able to create projects and be in classes that I'm able to be creative and show my creativity and my art, whether it's up on the school walls or it's in the news in the afternoon. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to show my artistic process and my art in this video for CCR. Another thing that CCR has made me realize is that I try and seek challenges with my art. Though most of the time it doesn't go as planned, I still try to do something new with my art or push myself to try something that I've never done before. For example, in GeoDesign, I had made a picture of my cat, but it was only triangles and a limited color palette. I had never really drawn animals or do something that is on the more realistic side, so it was nice to see that I was able to create something differently. Some personal relevance to CCR is that in school and my art, and I'm able to be creative and passionate about my art, I always try to find some way to enjoy the projects, and if I can implement my art in any way, I will definitely try to. Some setbacks I've had this year is in EarthCom, when we, as a class, had made our own version of the Magic School Bus episode. I wanted to animate my whole entire section. But there were some setbacks. I had never made a full animation before. I have never made a full body shot or lip syncing or everything that really goes into animation. So when I tried, it was difficult. I tried to adapt it more, make it more simple, only have really one picture with a character that only has the eyes that move and the mouth that moves. And it worked. I needed to make it more simple so I was able to get the project in on time, and I did. I was able to finish the project. Granted, it wasn't what I had imagined almost at all, but I was still very proud of it. And that's okay that it didn't turn out what it was supposed to be. It was how I was able to learn and how I was really able to be under pressure and not know what to do at times. I'm so thankful for the school to help me not only learn who I am, but how I can really express myself and be able to show my art. I'm Mika Hegel, and that was my CCR 2021 video.
Hi there, my name is Tristan Chagru, and I'm a freshman at Innovation Tech High School. And this is my passion project for CCR 2021. I decided to go on the third path for CCR, which is passion project. For a passion project, I need to make a physical representation of something that I enjoy. So I decided to do drawing, as you can see that I'm doing here. When I started this project, I went with the mission statement of, how can I make my art better using software so that way it can have a higher quality? So right now, I'm currently doing a basic sketch for the premises of my art piece. So while I'm on the subject of art, The piece that I'm working on is based off a scene from the show Joseph's Bizarre Adventure, which I've gotten into recently. So anyway, here's the final sketch. I'm somewhat proud of it actually. So, right here, you can see me quickly drawing up a background using a variety of colors such as purple, red, blue, black, and even pink. This only took me about 10 minutes though. From there, I threw the original sketch in the IBS Paint X and traced over it using a thin black marker. Now, here comes the problem though. It wasn't until after I had finished the trace that I had forgotten to add a new layer. Now that's the thing about art, is how well it goes along with the agency rubric. What the agency rubric entails is having a growth mindset and taking ownership of your learning, both of which I used for this project. I noticed I had forgotten to add a new layer. Then I remembered I had a background eraser on my phone. So what I did was I put it into the background eraser, and it worked out pretty well. I put the line art back into IBS Paint and continued from there. I started by struggling to get the colors just right. So I used my growth mindset and decided to take it to my number one resource, Google. I found what I was looking for there with ease. This video is not sponsored by Google. After I completed all the base colors, I tried shading with no result. So I decided to do some digging and tinker with the app. Then, I found what would be my best ally for this entire art piece, the smudge tool. So I picked that up quite fast. I was starting to get burned out, but I wasn't going to let that stop me. I sat there remembering what I had done in class earlier that day. I remembered the TED Talks and articles I had seen and read that day. One of the articles was about success, and that's not what you think. It was about Kim Perrell explaining the secret to success is staying strong and not being afraid to fail. The second video was about grit and how Angela Lee Duckworth found that IQ isn't a part of one's intelligence, but grit is. Grit is the power of passion and persistence. I kept on pushing myself forward because I want to be able to make this my career, and got this as my first final product. I forgot to record the process for a second part, so here's a picture of it without anything in the way. I continue to push myself forward because I want to be able to bring a creative mindset into my school and future workplace. I placed all my things into the background and layered them on top of each other. Then I started designing some visual effects. I played around with layers and filters for a few minutes. Right here, I am learning how to actually use the filters. I finished off the project by making a new layer and signing my initials. At this point, I remembered what Brenda Romero said, and her "I get what I want" slogan, and I felt like I had really embodied that during that moment. Here's a finished art piece. This one is mine, compared to the original one. Here are some of my older pieces for comparison. When I started this project, I went with the problem statement of how can I use software to make my art better? And the answer is by trying and learning how to use the software. Thank you for coming and have a great rest of your day.
Hello, I'm Zach, a student here at Innovation Tech. I've been partaking in our annual CCR. If I appear a little different on screen than I do in person, that's just because I didn't want to draw myself, so I'm using an original character to speak. Anyways, about CCR. With CCR comes a problem statement, and that I had to make for myself. So here it is. How can I, as an Innovation Tech student, do well enough in CCR so that it can be used as a tool to help me achieve my goals? I came up with this problem statement because even though I've always had a very clear vision of my future, it's always prone to changing, and I have more than one passion. That leads me to the next thing, the pathway I'd chosen. I chose pathway number 3, personal passions. My passions are helping people and art. These two are a good mix for a future job and knowing what I want to do with my life, but in the end I ended up wanting to become a nurse/surgeon. It has nothing to do with art, but I love being able to help people and making sure they're okay. My future. As I have just stated, I want to be a nurse and/or a surgeon, preferably both. I was thinking of also doing art as a way to relieve stress as I normally do, and then sell it when I'm old and gray. I'm going to achieve this by hopefully being able to take chemistry next year, so when I'm a senior, I can get to the New Visions Medical Professions program they have for CTE. I will also be using what I've learned throughout CCR, using the articles and videos I went through. The first article I read was Responsibility in the Workplace. It taught me about responsibility and how I'm accountable for my own actions. This relates to my passions because although I am creative and I want to just jump into everything as fast as I can, I need to make sure that I am staying within a certain box. The second article was Plans and Organizes. This article taught me how important it was to be organized, which I personally struggle with. This relates to my future because, well, do you want to have a disorganized surgeon operating on you? Yeah, didn't think so. The first video was The Secret to Success. This video actually relates to something Brenda said when talking about herself. I will get what I want. That really stuck with me, both in the video and the keynote speakers, because I think everyone should have that mentality to a reasonable extent. The last video was The Power of Positivity. This video stuck with me, not even just for my own passions, but for myself as well. It taught me that if I surround myself and others with positivity, we will feel better and just do better in general, which is amazing for myself and others. At the beginning of CCR, I was told to grade myself agency-wise, and so I did, and now I'm highlighting my own growth. Before all this happened, 2 out of 3 of my X's were proficient, but now I would put all 3 of them in between proficient and advanced, because honestly, I think I've grown, even if I was just given a week to do so. So you've already heard me say my problem statement. How can I, as an innovation tech student, do well enough in CCR so that it can be used as a tool to help me achieve my goals? And at the end, I think I might have a bit of an answer, and that's to keep trying. If I push myself hard enough, I can get what I want. I need to persevere. If I'm drawing and I don't like it, well, too bad. I'm going to make the best of it and try again. Or if I struggle with a surgery, I'll pick myself back up and look further into it so my future patients don't have to suffer with any complications. So, the answer may not be too clear, and it may be difficult, but someday, this answer will turn into a question of its own. Thank you for watching.
When you hear the word animation, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Is it those classic Disney movies you grew up with, Studio Ghibli films, or even Pixar and DreamWorks? No matter what you think about animation, there's no doubting that it is an amazing art form that practically raised millions across the globe, right? Unfortunately, not everyone thinks so, because to many people in America, animation is nothing more than a genre made for kids. In reality, that is far, far from true. Animation is a revolutionary medium used to tell powerful, impactful stories. It is an art form that is worth just as much art as the Mona Lisa itself. Even if you understand the word, what truly is animation? Today, I am here to emphasize the importance of animation in media, why it is underappreciated, and the imaginative tales it can tell. So, what exactly is animation? In a nutshell, animation is an art form in which objects and images appear and are created in the form of movement. There are many different varieties of animation, and each of them can visually mesmerize the eyes. Let's go over the contrasting types of animation. First of all, there is traditional animation, where each frame is drawn by hand and with paint. It can also be digitally drawn with computers. Another similar method is 2D flash animation, which uses vector-based images and rigs, but it makes it an overall less complicated process. CGI, or computer-generated imagery, is completely different, as it manipulates 3D computer graphics and 3D imagery and models into movement. Stop-motion animation moves physical objects, such as clay, between photograph frames. With so many contrasting ways to animate, Why is it considered childish in our society? Now, let's dive into the reasoning behind animation not being taken seriously. My thoughts are that maybe because most animated movies are TV shows, and TV shows are so bright and colorful, people commonly misunderstand that it's something only children can enjoy. While it may be true that some animated media is often child and family friendly, doesn't mean that it can only be enjoyed by a certain age group. Take Disney movies as an example. They make media that is enjoyable for all ages. With some messages in the films you don't understand or appreciate until you get older. Another reference is that some of their media has some serious topics and tones lying underneath the overall story. A second consideration is anime, which typically has more mature storylines than American television shows. For an example, even an anime that has a target demographic of young children may be considered for teenagers in America. So, why does animation deserve to be taken seriously? Take these points into consideration because animation can literally do anything live action cannot. Create immersive worlds full of wonders, colors, and relatable characters that an audience of all ages can easily connect to. Defy the laws of gravity and convey emotions not just through music, but with bright colors in addition to exaggerated character designs and expressions. Bring stories to life through visual imagery. Most of the time, these stories work because they are animated, and they can express creativity and tell stories in a unique way. Growing from setbacks, personal relevance, and seeking challenges. Walt Disney's challenges. One of the most famous animators of all time is easily Walt Disney. While making his first animated film, Walt faced several different challenges. Disney had seen the silent version of the film growing up, and he resonated with the fairy tale so much that he decided to bring the story to life using animation. People thought he was crazy for making a feature-length animated film, and they often cited it as Disney's folly. He even had to mortgage his home to cover the cost of production, which was around $1.5 million, which, keep in mind, was a lot in 1937. Despite his struggles, he kept going on with the movie. But what happened afterwards? Once it was released, it was enormously successful, and it briefly became the highest grossing sound film of all time until Gone with the Wind took the spot. I want to break into the entertainment industry just like Walt Disney did, and I understood the challenges he went through because it is a complex business to get into. I find personal relevance through this since I enjoy researching as well as reading about film, entertainment, and specifically animation. I connect my interests plus my goals into the information I learned so it is more thoroughly engaging overall. Reflecting on my actions before and after I perform them, in addition to thinking of the effects my words have on others, play a role when I inform others about my hobbies, and when I mistake in words, I analyze what I had said was wrong and take into consideration so that I can learn from it in the future. In the TED Talk, How to Find Your Passion and Make It Your Job, Emma talks about how she tried 25 jobs before her 25th birthday. I feel like I could apply this to my life because even though I want to get into the entertainment industry, I am unaware of what exact job I want to commit myself to. Trying out several different career paths in one business could very well help me become more specific in deciding what my dedication to this industry will turn into. What truly is the key to success? Another TED Talk I had viewed was The Secret to Success. It's not what you think. This taught me that the key to success truly is failure, and it is okay to fail because there will be times when ideas do not work out the way you want them to. Those points are especially important to get into show business since some movies are box office bombs. But learning from those failures can help movie makers in the long run so they can try again and perhaps even become more successful. Why creativity is important. Creativity is probably one of the most important aspects of the entertainment in general, and animated movies are created by creative geniuses coming together to finish an end product. Many people around me have gushed about how creative I am, but sometimes I feel like I have no choice but to find new ways to do things. If I use the same words or methods each time I do something, it feels bland and tiring repeating the same thing every single try I take. Of course I want to have a certain style of doing things, but I would desire to take a different chance each chance I get. Many successful people in our lives are very creative and come up with a variety of ways for us to live. Keeping a positive attitude. Thinking outside the box can lead to great things and helps lead us to a positive future. Speaking of positivity, in the workplace, a positive attitude is crucial to becoming successful. Considering the good things in life and using those as a tool can help lead to a brighter future. Positivity can help just about anywhere in life. It can help us seek challenges, grow from failures, and build relationships. My hopes and dreams for the future. My biggest goal is to get into the entertainment industry. I want to produce animated fantasy TV shows and movies that tell powerful stories with messages that stick with us for generations, to prove that animation really is an amazingly beautiful art form that can be used to influence millions of people around the globe. You may ask, how will I do so? Ideas I will always consider moving forward are exposing myself to certain situations that may make me uncomfortable at first, but help me grow along the way. Develop my skills and talents creatively so that I can improve upon myself. Remind myself about all the good things in life. Focus on the positive side. And try and take different opportunities so I can decide what path is the best for me. And appreciate my failures so I don't look down upon them.
As I stood in front of the sticker, I was intrigued by the shapes. It reminded me of something I doodle all the time. I could see some of the elements of art, especially the repeated value scales, and the shapes created through the thick lines, which drew me to the sticker and was what inspired me to take a picture of it. But before I start looking so intently at images, here's where I began. Hello, my name is Lampazilla. I'm a 9th grader and I'm from Liverpool, and the pathway I chose is passion. The passion I'll be talking about today is photography. The driving statement for this project is, how do we seek success? The problem statement I had to this driving question is, how can I become more confident and comfortable with presenting my project in front of others so that I can show my passion for taking pictures well? Looking back on the keynote speaker, I can really relate to John Romero when it comes to the fact that he didn't have a lot of resources. So he took advantage of what he could get his hands on. And I do the same. I don't really have access to an extra camera, so instead I use my phone. Therefore, my biggest takeaway from John Romero is to take advantage of the opportunities and resources given to you. Going to this project, I knew I wanted to do the passion pathway, but I didn't really know what passion I was going to talk about. For the first 2 days, I thought I was talking about my love of reading, but then I decided maybe I should talk about my passion for taking pictures instead. I realized I had the most to talk about it when it came to my passion for capturing pictures and my passion in general for photography. Plus, I have so many ideas when it comes to capturing things visually. Something I enjoy about taking pictures is the freedom. I get to do what I want. I choose what I want to take a picture of. There's nothing like creative freedom you have with capturing photos. You're not told what to do all the time, and I love that about it. All the pictures I take show what I look for. For example, I look at if the scene is visually pleasing and has great use of color. I love to focus on subjects such as animals, plants, and landscapes. I love to use my abilities for taking pictures when creating visuals for a project. This makes my project easier on the eyes. Looking at the videos and articles I watched/read this week, I was able to relate to parts of them. The first article was about decision-making skills, and I had to use my decision-making skills when it came to choosing a pathway and choosing a passion for this project. The second article was about self-development/improvement. I relate to this because as someone who likes taking pictures, we always have to improve on taking them. Whether that be changing a technique, adapting to a camera, and most importantly, working with what you got. Now, recalling the videos I watched. The first one was about growing from your setbacks. Now, when it comes to taking pictures, you're bound to take several bad ones, but you have to learn from it. Trial and error. You begin to find out what doesn't work for you, and what works for you when it comes to taking pictures. Another video I watched was about finding your passion and making it your job. I personally can relate to this because I haven't fully found my passion, so I haven't fully found out what I want to do in life. Now, after all of this, I understand CCR a bit better. It's about helping people with their college career readiness. It helps students figure out what they might want to do in their future and what skills they're good at. CCR helps you with your future, and looking back at the AGC rubric, I feel like I'm able to fully see challenges. I kept doing my audio over and over until it was the best I could do, and then when I was done, I rewrote it and did it again, looking to make sure I had everything I needed. With personal relevance, I feel like I also fulfilled it. I found personal relevance in John Romero's story when it came to the fact that he used what he had. Now, I definitely fulfilled growing from setbacks. When it came to the audio, I kept messing up. One solution I found was to write exactly what I was going to say instead of going off a summary. Now, before I leave, I'd like to explain these last 4 pictures. You might be wondering what they are exactly. Well, looking at the first 2 pictures, they were taken by me using the textured part of my water ball against Christmas lights. What drew me to it was the colors and the way they looked as if they were bleeding together. The one with the blue and red also drew me into taking a picture of it because of the contrast between the 2 colors. Look at the last 3 pictures. They're actually a painting on top of a lamp. I was attracted to the color and contrast. I knew if I put the painting on the lamp, I'd get a brighter colors which would create a higher level of contrast. Now, you might be wondering what my next steps are with photography. In the future, I want to keep taking photographs and using my creativity. Thanks for watching and exploring my passion with me, and I hope you enjoyed my photographs.
Hi there, my name is Trey Merritt. I am a freshman at Innovation Tech High School, and this is my passion project for CCR. I decided to choose the 3rd pathway, which is my passion project, and I need to make something that I enjoy and I'm passionate about. And when I started this project, my mission statement was how can I get better at recording and editing to get a job and be successful. So currently, I'm editing a 2 short 1-second skit of me fighting myself. Now, I didn't want to record the 2nd skit, but I'll show you it with the 1st skit that I recording. I was reminded of the videos and articles we did, and one of the videos was named Power of Positivity, and it was about a crowd of people cheering on people blindfolded shooting free shots, and they missed all their shots, but the crowd cheered them on. And when they were not blindfolded, they made 4 out of 10 free shots when they couldn't make any free shots not blindfolded. And it shows that a positive crowd can show positivity, and that could make an impact on people. And it made me think, would people cheer on my editing and enjoy it, or would people hate it and tell me to quit? Well, I'm not going to let haters stop me from achieving my goal, which is to be a fantastic editor and have fun. And an article that I did was called Responsibility in the Workplace. And it's about people saying how they have responsibilities while working. And if they don't get that responsibility done, then they'll get fired from their job and not be successful. And that's why it reminded me of editing. Because sometimes there will be setbacks and you'll have like corrupt files or no audio in a file. Or the recording will be messed up. And it reminds me that if that ever happens, you just gotta push through it, remake it, see how you can make it better than the last, and see if it helps in any other way. Now, I'm about to show you the final products of my 2 couple-second video clips that I made of me fighting myself. Hope you enjoy. Now, I have made a lot of videos this school year for projects and just for fun. And when I presented my projects to my peers, they laughed, which showed that they liked it. And it made me feel happy. And I always wanted to show this talent, but I was never able to till I came to this school. And now that I have friends here that like my editing and recording, I want to continue this and show the world my talent and make people laugh. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to me. Goodbye.
Hi, I'm Evan and I'm from Beeville. My problem statement is how can I, as a producer, show my creative process to help people understand music better. My biggest takeaway from Brenda and John Romero is they grew from all their setbacks. When he first published his first ever game, it didn't do so good, but that didn't stop him. He kept on trying and working, and he made the biggest game do. I chose Pathway 2, which is showing my creative process. During CCR, I watched videos and I read articles which discussed different skills. One was about important decision making. I have to make good decisions with my music so it sounds good. Another was growing from setbacks. If something doesn't go to my liking, I get up and I try again. I'm really passionate about producing and making music. I like making music because it helps me express myself and how I feel. Innovation Tech helped me work on my beats through collaboration, as well as received feedback from other students here. Throughout CCR, I've been working on my agency. Growing from setbacks, when something doesn't go to my liking, I take a step back for a little bit and I work on a new project. Personal relevance. Music is me and it helps me express myself and seeking challenges. I self-taught myself all the basics of music making. Next steps. In the next year, I want to purchase and learn FL Studios. In 10 years, I want to start my own studio. I got into music making when I was 13. I was just scrolling through YouTube when I saw someone making a beat. I thought it was really cool and I wanted to try it out for myself. But I didn't have money at the time, so I used Soundtrap, and it helped me learn all the basics of music making. 2020 Christmas rolled around and I started using Ableton, which I'm using right now, as you can see. After several YouTube tutorials and teaching myself, I finally perfected Ableton. But that's just the start. I still have several more things to learn. I still have to learn chord progressions, audio effects, and how to use my MIDI key, and I would really like to take a class on music theory. Music theory is not the easiest thing to learn. As you can see right here, this is me growing from a setback. When I was shaping the beat, I noticed that I did not like the 808 that was already in there. I could have easily told myself that the beat was no good, but I didn't, and I kept on going. And that's not the only time I've ever grown from a setback. Making beats, you always have to grow from a setback. Not every beat's gonna be successful. When I first started making beats, all my beats went on YouTube. Now all my beats go on SoundCloud. My highest viewing beat is only 53 views, but that's not gonna stop me. I'm gonna keep on working, I'm gonna keep on trying. There are many moments where I feel like I should give up and quit beat making altogether. But I always find myself going back and trying again. Some people who inspired me to start producing is Taz Taylor and Nick Mira from Internet Money. Also Simon Servita and Ocean Beats. When it comes to some of my favorite artists, it is The Kid Laroi, Juice WRLD, Trippie Redd, and so much more. One thing that they all have in common is they like using guitar melodies with trap drums on top. I'm currently doing the same exact thing and I'm making a Juice WRLD type beat called Paradise. I start with my melody and once I get there, I usually go straight into drums. All starting with the kick, clap, snare, and open hat. When that's done, I go into hi-hats and 808s. And then when that's done, I put in my tag. I don't really have a tag, so it's just a simple FX sound. With that, the beat is done. Let's listen.
My name is Luca Galli. I'm a junior at Innovation Tech. No, that's not what I want. Do I really not know who I am? I'd like to think I'm a rather intelligent student. Outside of school, I play softball. I like Saturdays with my mom. I like watching football games. But those are all free time activities. There needs to be something better. As Coach Vale said, challenge accepted. This article says, are you willing to make sacrifices for it? Are you willing to fight for it? What am I willing to fight for? I have no desire to pursue a career in astronomy, but the stars always remind me that there's something bigger out there. This relates to my life, my bigger goal. I want to do something bigger than myself, something for the greater good. My overall life goal helps to form my passions. I want to make an impact, specifically in the mental health field. Mental health is a confusing thing, especially when you're young. I wish someone besides a white-coated adult doctor could help explain to me what I was experiencing. I was a kid, and my brain was still developing, and doctors were prescribing medicines and therapy that I had no comprehension of. I had to go through a lot of changes with no guidance. I had to go through the journey of self-love and improvement alone. So as I matured, I realized that uncomfortable feeling sparked a flame inside of me. I knew it was my passion because I'm willing to dedicate my whole life to improving the system. This flame's never been replaceable, and it's never gone out. Nothing has even come close to it. Well, I can't say nothing. Can you have two passions? This isn't the same type of flame. It sparked a different feeling. I found my peace with this. Writing has brought peace into my chaotic mind. It's also hard to explain with a singular emotion. To best describe it, the feeling is similar to when your football team wins in the last few seconds of a game or the starting moments of a concert. The slight adrenaline rush is a commonality between these experiences and the feeling my passions give me, and I've learned to love it. I started to combine these two flames together to make a fire, but the fire is lit with pure gasoline. The gasoline is the dissatisfaction with my experiences, but also the chilling thought that another kid is feeling the same way I did. Aside from my personal need for writing, I know somebody else needs to hear what I'm saying. But it's hard to succeed in the writing industry, and I don't have any desire to be a traditional mental health worker. So for a while I was stuck, but nothing leaves me more satisfied than these two things. So I had to give it time. I had used some grit and some patience. In the back of my mind, I knew that failure wasn't a permanent feeling. I knew it'd all work out in the end. So after waiting, the event happened. The aha moment everyone longs for. I walked upstairs with my waffle, and I got an email telling me to check my dashboard. Scholastic Art and Writing Competition, the most prestigious competition. 230,000 entries drowned the competition's judges. I lazily opened my dashboard, ready for the disappointment that thousands of other kids were receiving. Gold Key, I Confess, by Luca Galli. Long story short, my piece was one of the 5% of entries selected that received the honor, and the honor came with a national nomination. My piece talked about the hard topics. Looking back, I think the experience and the feeling helped me to realize how truly passionate I was about both of these things. I thought it was done there, but writing seemed to change my life again. Did you know that slam poems are non-traditional plays? Me neither, but Howlett wanted the juniors to enter Syracuse Stage's playwriting contest. I entered for fun. Why not? 2 months later, Syracuse Stage emailed me. They notified me that my non-traditional slam poem was one of 8 winners in their contest. The poem is a heavy topic piece. It's hard for people to hear sometimes. Suddenly, my 1-person poem turned into a 7-person play when all of the drama students overwhelmed the director with wanting to be included in the production of my work. My words were important. Well, maybe I could turn this into a job. I'm 16 years old with people already validating my work, but more importantly, my voice. But it's not the awards, it's the inner satisfaction, the constant want to do better for myself and for others. When these two passions merge together, it gives me something I want to fight for. And whether I do speeches, or I write a book, or maybe I'll research mental health, I don't exactly know. All I know is I'm going to be somebody, somehow, some way.